For today's video, I thought what I would do is I'll do a run through some of my favourite tools, especially the ones that I use for blending, and not all of these are marketed as art tools, so you might find a few which will be your new favourites. Out of all the art tools that I regularly reach for, these are probably the ones which I use the least, but whenever I need them, they're really useful. As you can see, they're made by wrapping a paper very tightly into a pencil shape, and my favourite way to use these is if I need to blend something and really work it into the paper. Now, a lot of people I know have these and then don't know how to sharpen them, so I thought I would show you how to do that. And what you need is a sanding block, and you just run it against the sanding paper until you've reshaped it, and then that's how you use the tool to yarn. If you've been following my illustrations on Patreon, then you've seen me use these dozens of times. They're easily my favourite blending tool. These are disposable eyeliner brushes. Now, this pack that I got over 2 years ago I'm still using, so obviously I don't throw them away after using them. And what I like about them is that they're absolutely fantastic for blending out small details. And because the end is so small, it means that I can get into all those tricky areas that I can't always get to. And if the end starts to get a little bit rough and not quite so detailed, I just trim it down with a pair of scissors and keep on using it. Another set of tools that I've taken a very long time to collect are different kinds of brushes. The majority of these are makeup brushes, just because I find there's a little bit more diversity in the shapes that I can get and also the firmness of the bristles, which is very useful. So I've just collected different brushes with different shapes, different firm bristles. The small eyeshadow brush, for example, has got very flimsy bristles, which is awful for makeup, but it's fantastic for art if I want to apply something lighter. And then the reshaped art brush, I've cut it down to the very bottom so that it's very firm, so if I really want to work some shadows into the paper, I can do that. Another thing that I use is this larger brush, and this is one that I really like. I don't use it often, but when I do use it, it's a lifesaver if I want to soften a large area or if I gradually want to build in the shadows and I don't want to have any bristles which are really going to force that colour into the paper. Then I have some sculpting tools, and these are normally used for sculpting, as the name implies. You get 3 different kinds. You get some which have the white rubber, some with grey rubber, and then some with black rubber. The white rubber, as you can see, is very flexible, and the grey rubber is more in the kind of medium flexibility, and the black rubber tends to be very firm. And what I love about these is it's very similar to using your fingers to blend, except you don't have to worry about your fingers getting oily, and also it means that you can work in areas which are just too small for your fingers to work, so it's fantastic for lips and eyes. And those are some of my favourite tools for blending. Obviously this doesn't include all the other art tools that I like to use, like watercolours, but maybe I'll do a separate video for that at some point. But when it comes to just good old-fashioned pencil and pan pastel, anything like that, these are the tools I use the most. So hopefully you found something that interests you, and maybe you'll end up finding a new favourite tool. This illustration was for Chapter 7 in the Outsider series, which I'm currently releasing on my website. It's an illustrated series. There's a new chapter which comes out each Wednesday, so hopefully you're following that, hopefully you're enjoying it, and I'll have a new video for you soon.